Hey there, everyone. Cabin Fever Challenge 2023 is officially over. Rewards video came out about a week ago. I was very pleased with the results, and we looked like we had a pretty good year this year. So this is just a quick debrief on what I saw in my own runs and what I've learned from them. Uh, it's not going to be as long as the one I made last year. So looking through my runs, I'll start out Division 1, the vintage auto loading division. I used that Springfield Armory M1A, which is a rifle that you can see in the video, despite the fact that I'm very familiar with the operating system, I'm not familiar with that particular rifle, right? That example of that rifle. I've only had about 40 something rounds through it since I bought it. 308 is very difficult to find around here right now. So between that and the loading it with stripper clips, I wasn't really going for a super hot time. If I was trying to be quick, I would have bought extra magazines. I just thought it'd be fun to try it loading with the stripper clips. The rifle loaded easy with the strippers, nothing too crazy going on there. My group size was a little wide. I mentioned in the comments on that particular entry, the rear sight on those M1As as it comes from the factory is way too fine for my tastes. So I have, since doing that competition, I've added a larger ghost ring for the rear. So I got to go back out and re-zero it now. But I had a lot of trouble. The glare from the sun at the range I was at really caused a lot of problems for me because it was right in my eyes and I had no way around it. So other than that, though, I think I did all right considering it's a rifle I have yet to really get practiced with. The operating system in the manual of arms is identical to the Mini 14, so I am very familiar with it. It's just a matter of getting used to that particular rifle and where that particular rifle patterns and how well it patterns. So that was that first run. I was happy with that considering. So we'll try again next year and see if I can improve. Then Division 2 for the Unlimited Division, I used my custom home built New York legal AR-15. When I say build, I mean I selected the parts and put them together myself. I did not mill anything. Those are, for those of you who know ARs, they are very much like putting together a set of Legos. It's not that difficult. That's a particularly nice AR. It's got a Criterion barrel, and it is a sub MOA gun. What let me down with that rifle was two things. The first one is I have a cheap hammer spring in there. I got what I could get on sale at the time. I'm going to be upgrading that with a set of Wolf springs. That way I don't have issues with the 5.56 primers like I did. That Federal green tip shoots beautifully through that rifle. I know that's not the case for everyone, but for that particular rifle, it really likes the green tips, and that's where I can get some pretty small groups. I think the last time I measured it was like 0.72 or something like that of an inch. But what let me down was I had that one light primer strike because the mil-spec primers are harder and I had a lighter spring in the gun. So that's going to be changed out. And the other thing that let me down was my optic. That is the Monstrum that I used in a previous video for an unboxing. I think it's the S330P or something like that. It's a good optic for the money, but the circle dot reticle on it, the dot is 6 MOA. Even at 100 yards, that is already too big. So I struggled with that a bit because it's tough to get a pinpoint on a target with that. I could see the target and make it out easier, but the having a dot that was so coarse makes it difficult to get the accuracy I wanted. So those were my two main issues with the AR, was just the light primer strike that caused a malfunction and an optic that isn't particularly suited to the job. So we'll try that one out again next year if I can still even use that firearm. The way that laws are going in New York and the United States right now, we'll see how much longer we still have the freedom to own something like that. Um, and keeping up with compliance and making sure that I don't have any illegal features is a constant thing. I have to constantly read up and make sure that nothing's changed that would cause an issue with that. So that's the deal with that one. Then the final division that I entered was Division 3, which is the manual repeating division. I used the K98 for that. I was relatively happy with my performance on that. I was using some really crappy ammunition, to be frank. It's the regular green steel cased lacquer coated garbage that you pick up at any surplus auction, the Romanian stuff. That ammo was terrible, but the gun still shot pretty well with it. I noticed my group was high and to the right, and I did have one instance of the rim jumping the extractor, which caused a double feed, which you saw me clear in that video. I think it's pretty obvious in watching that. I am very practiced with that rifle. I know it like the back of my hand. I've probably put more rounds through that over the years than any other rifle I own. I love the 8x57 cartridge. It's fantastic. I do prefer the 303, but the 8x57 is neck and neck with it. So I use that rifle to relatively good effect, and I felt that, it did what it needed to do. So I just love to see what would happen if I had some nice ammo going through that rifle, but for now, all I use is surplus because I'm not made of money, and ammo is really ridiculous in the prices right now. So we ran through that. Things that I saw commonly through all three of my runs is I struggle a lot shooting unsupported in the standing position. It almost would have made more sense for me to just crank those 5 rounds off as quick as I could without really hoping to hit anything. Just because I struggle from that standing position. I need to practice that more. Now, as far as kneeling, I think I'm about average. I'm not particularly great from a kneeling position, but I'm not terrible either. Where I really excel is my prone and my sitting. For whatever reason, I shoot both of those positions very well. I have the easiest time with them. I'm quick. I have good follow-up shots. I feel comfortable shooting in the prone and the sitting. And that's how I usually prefer to shoot. So I think one of my things that I've learned from this is I need to get myself a little bit more practice shooting unsupported in the standing and kneeling. It just seems like the way to go, even though in a real life situation, I would be trying to find something to rest on no matter what position I'm in, because resting your firearm on something will always make you shoot more accurately because you won't have all the sway that's natural to your body. I just brought this out. This is my Rossi 92, and I have already cleared it. But what I noticed is with my shooting positions, what did really well for me this year was I did hold farther out than I normally do. I have my left hand a little bit farther out. And what that does is that gives me just a little bit more steadiness and a little more control over the rifle as I fire. It helps me to mitigate some of the muzzle flip, and it helps me to mitigate some of the sway that's inherent from having your arms closed in like this. Okay, well, I know that's how they do it for high power matches and that sort of thing. For something as quick as this competition, it's good to just be able to have a firm grip and go as quick as you want. So that's where we are with that. So, Cabin Fever Challenge 2023. Great fun. I look forward to doing it again next year, and we'll see if I can beat my scores from this year. I placed pretty well in all the categories. I was satisfied with my scores. I wasn't the worst, but I wasn't the best either. I'm hoping that maybe next year I can get myself in at least one category and onto the podium. we've been drawing a lot of very, very skilled shooters the past couple of years, so it's getting a little bit tougher to get high on that leaderboard. So we'll see what happens. It was great fun. The Cabin Fever Challenge guys are awesome people. We have a really good rapport, and I wanted to thank Rifle Chair for bringing me on yet again as a division leader. Just a great group of guys to work with, and I hope at some point we'll get to do some collaborations, maybe some discussions on firearm laws and what sort of mindsets we have towards the sport and towards the lifestyle, and just current events. So we'll see what happens with that. You're going to find, for those of you who tune in regularly, my videos have been a little bit erratic lately. I've been extremely busy at work. There's a lot going on in my life right now, so I'm not going to be posting as regularly as I normally do until I sort of get through where I am right now and things start to settle down again. It's been a very chaotic couple months. So that's where everything's at. Stay tuned for the next video. I am going to do some more firearm content while the school year is still going, because that's all I have time for. And once the summer comes around, I can then start getting back into some other outdoors sorts of things. Thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you all soon. Catch you later.